Righty. Hello and good morning to my friends in the East Coast. And good night to my friends in Asia. Today we're gonna have some CPL casts again, presented to you by me, Y2Kid. Sadly, no co-caster for today. Couldn't manage to find one that was available and awake at this time. But anyway, moving on. I've been sick last week, so might not be the best cast, but let's try it. Anyway, we are gonna have two groups for today. Actually, not just one, so there's a bonus for me being sick. First group's gonna be Group 19, because my new team, Passion Daddies, has that very handsome guy, Ash Zakrom, who asked me to cast these games, and I agreed before knowing that there are only 3 replacing the whole folder for the whole week, so even you, my friend Zakrom, did not play all your games. And then I decided to show some love to my fellow casters and cast Group 24 that features Shamtu and Doc Holiday. But as usual, let's get warmed up with the rookies of Tier 2 and then we'll move to the Tier 1 casters. You know the rules. Do not watch the time of the game when I'm casting, when I'm starting the game, because you just spoil yourself, and do shout at me in the chat for anything that might be wrong, like me not putting the correct scene or not having audio for most of the stream. Not that that ever happened, maybe, but that's the rules. You need to shout out in the chat. And let's get into our game. Our first game, Ash Zakrom versus Least. Now Least used to be a Protoss player for the previous seasons of CPL, but he has decided that he is not a Protoss anymore and he will just betray Ire and become a dirty race picker. So, starting us here in at the left-hand side of the map, you've got Ash Zakrom, and on the right-hand side of the map, we have Least, who is playing as Zerk. So, ZVP this time. Need to get into the habit of hiding the replay bar again. So, yeah, ZVP. As I said, Least did betray Ire. We're very angry at him right now for this, but at least he's not as dirty of a race picker. I will not need a shower after this game. It's not 5 pools or 4 pools, but maybe if we were casting some Type 2 games today, that would be an option. Seeing some economic 4 pools, or was it economic 5 pools? No, I don't know. And from Ash Zakrom, we are just having standard play so far, and the probe is staying in the natural, making me think that this will quite possibly be a gateway expand. Yep, he had a probe queued and cancelled it to put the gate at 9, and that gateway slightly earlier than normal, and then it's important to queue your probe again, which he didn't do for quite some time, but that's okay. Another thing for Sylphid at that position on the left side, the Protoss players can have a pylon forging gateway wall, or that will just require 3 zealots. And the wall that he's doing right now is hard to do with 3 zealots, impossible with them. So it will be like a 4 or 5 zealots wall. Something to keep in mind. My Discord is going off. I don't know why. It's not important. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue with the rest. do we have so far? We've got one Zealot that is not heading across the map, and the probe did manage to see that there are 4 links already, and maybe that's why he's holding back, but honestly, Zealot and probe, they can deal with 4 links. Not much of a problem there, so not sure about not sending this first Zealot. In the meantime, List was a bit preoccupied with trying to kill the probe and did not put his hatchery for some time, even when he had the minerals, but now because the hatchery was blocked, he went and expanded on the third base. But little does he know, that's a lot of Zealots right now coming, and if the first Zealots was here already making havoc while List expanded so far away, I think this could have been advantageous position for Zakrom. But instead he decides to play it super safe and not engage the links, not send his other Zealots across the map, which is fine. If you are unsure, better to play safe, because what was it? I think it was Higgs commenting about Cadenzi's plays and how when she was receiving some coaching from Shine, he told her to basically make static DE, a lot of static DE. She doesn't know if she's gonna make it or not, because that is a call that List did not abuse. Basically, he could have just used his links to come by all the Zealots instead of fighting them. That's a nice choke, which was very good for the Zealots. List did try to put on some aggression, which I think if he used the opportunity that he had with the incomplete wall here, he would have had a better advantage. But yes, as he was putting that link aggression, his minerals did go as high as 600 at some point, so yeah, he was pretty committed to that. It did not work out, and yes, he was a bit frustrated, and that's it for game 1. A bit anticlimactic, but that's what List and Zakrom gave us so far. What is this? I'm not seeing that before. And let's head into game number 2, if they're as long as they are right now. I mean, we'll be seeing some caster games pretty soon. Let's go to Canshot versus Intact, which is even less of spoiler free. But you're a good chat and you're not looking at games while I'm creating. I should really get into doing some overlay, I think, but given my previous overlay accidents, I think it might be safe to not do it. Yeah, that lobby bug is very annoying. Hello, Vampire Bot. Do you want to co-cast? Yeah, we were close. That was just... Oh, that is annoying. It was more of me drinking water while that bug was happening. Let's go. That's better. Oh, no, it's not. What's going on? Maybe we should have possibly a different name. Nope. Is that gonna do it? Yeah, that seems fine. I don't know what's happening with button yet again, but anyway, we got our game ready. they hosted on news map settings. So starting here in at the right hand corner of the map, it is Canshot. A bit of chatter going on. Very important to say with the A. So I'll try to stick to that. So our friend Canshot, seems like they know each other, is the Blue Zerg at the right hand side corner. At the top of the map we have Intact, the White Terran. I cannot see them. No other messages. I'm guessing Intact was playing random, although he was. Interesting. Although he was Terran and the brackets. Intact does not want to do chess. So that's very important information to know. Intact is not a chesser. And Canshot is going for a 12 hatch, which I think in TVZ is pretty standard. Not a TVZ expert, that's why I like having co-casters that are ideally not Protoss. But oh well, you can't always have what you want. SWAT. Our friends from... was it the Rolling Stones? You can't always have what you want. Not sure, I think it was. Nothing much going on right now in the game. Having standard builds from both sides, that drone being annoying. 12 pull into 12 gas for the third player. And some marines being produced, so now that drone needs to get the fuck out of this base. And that's it. And okay, that is not so standard, being building the CC inside, I think. It was a CC on 15 into gas, into Fast Academy. Makes sense if you get the gas to get an academy, but like, he's really skimping on any attacking units. And there's a random marine on the map trying to chase down overlords. But if our friend Canshot here made a few more links, the fact that Intact was building his command center in the base will not help out much, because there were only 3 marines on the map, one of which was AFK hunting overlords. And Canshot did have an opportunity to take it down, but not make use of it. And we are gonna have a 2-hatch Spire. There's almost done, so done now, so that drone will be becoming a Spire just now. And link speed as well, so he wants to put, quite likely what he wants to do is put on some link aggression, muta aggression, and while the marines are busy chasing the mutas everywhere on the map, have some links run by and snipe turrets, or just chaos in the main. And it is a good thought. No, he's building overlords. I was gonna say it's a good thought, but only works if you have supply to make these mutas. We did have a scan in the main base from Intact. he did not see any tech. So he should know that all the tech is right here at the natural. And yeah, now we have a second scan using that second command center, and he does see that the spire is almost done. It's important for Terran players to know when the spire completes, because I think what they want is to start their turrets as soon as the spire completes, or as soon as the muter starts hatching, which is the same time, so that they have the turrets at their base ready to defend from the muters. But we do only have, okay, Terrans scouting for third bases. We do only have 2 turrets being produced now. There's some more, but is that gonna be a little bit too late? No, it seems like it's gonna work out just fine, because Canshot is taking his time before engaging with the mutas, and I am pretty sure that, not a Zerg expert again, but I'm pretty sure that the point of 2-hatch mutas is to have mutas as fast as possible to also harass the Terran as fast as possible. So maybe not the best execution from that point of view, but pretty well handled. And 2 other important things: the Terran player did use scan to scout for the third base, did not see a third base, and did send an SCV after that on the map, which is very good. Having vision is always great in this game. And the Terran player is having all the vision and all the information that he needs right now, except the one thing that he cannot scout is that the Zerg is going for very fast flyer upgrades for the mutas, flyer attack upgrades, which to me suggests that he wants to commit to very heavy muta play and quite possibly try to end the games with the mutas. That's usually when we see flyer attack upgrades, but saying that, I did also see that Queen's Nest was already completed and we've got Hive on the way, so he's going for that attack upgrade, but he's also taking into Hive. Seems like the Terran does have enough forces, although that's a very annoying position, especially for Marines without range. Where is your range, man? Especially for Marines without range. But not having the armor, but the attack upgrade does result in all these mutas being very wounded. But who knows, maybe what he wants to do right now is make use of that dead space behind the Natural and go for very fast Guardians. His hive is almost completed, and he's banking a lot, but he Canshot, the Zerg player, does not keep on producing mutas, so I am a bit lost with what's going to happen right now. So we do have the Greater Spire after all, so that attack upgrade does make some sense, I guess, right now, but still I think it's better to have a very good snipe of that turret with the muta bounces. Will allow Canshot to take out his opponent's gas, which is very important resource in ZVP. So denying the gas while going for some heavy tech plays, I think will pay off for our Zerg player. And we can see that the aggression of the Zerg player is already paying off, because there are 25 to 30 drones. But I think he should either produce some more mutas, not just one. And that's better. If he wants to transition into these Guardians, but using these wounded mutas will be the best. I've seen some pro players when they have like a very wounded muta like this one, and they just select it on the control group and they'll leave it somewhere in here to regenerate, and then later on, if he's choosing to go for Guardians, to go for Guardians where they're safe, because unlike other cocoons, the Desert player, these ones do not have very high armor. And I was gonna say, if the Terran player sees that, everything that the Desert was planning might just go down the drain, which is what's happening right now, because we had the slightly too late. We had the Terran player scanning, so he did see that the Guardians were on the way, but he did not manage to intercept them in time, despite of the fact that Kancho decided to morph them here, where he did give some chance for recovery of his opponent rather than here, for example, where it would be so much harder for the Terran player to do anything about the Guardians. But that was our game, so the Zerg rushed to the Guardians, and the Terran did not manage to respond correctly to that. And this will be game number 2. So, quite some fast games. That bottleneck bug is making me 1, 2, 3 type. At least we got the map this time. Well, preview of the map, that's pretty good, right? Yeah, that host bug is causing me to, as you can see, have some troubles hosting the games, but thankfully it's not being reflected on the ability to start the games. And here for another TVZ, we are gonna have Least, this time as the Terran player, starting us here at the right hand side of the map. And at the top of the map we do have Can Shot again, Can Shoot. Maybe he just cannot shoot. So, as the Zerg player starting in the orange-ish color at the top of the map. And let's see what the players will go for. Oh my god, Terran is building a supply depot. What's happening? That SCV honestly looks better. Yeah. Nothing out of the ordinary so far. We are gonna have some 12 hatches again from the Zerg player. Max on 11 from the SCV from the Terran player. They have quite possibly had observers in the game while playing this. I don't know where Can Shoot is, but Least is West Coast, I believe. And they are having quite some lag issues. The Zerg player this time did not go for the 12 hatch 12 pull into 12 gas, rather went 12 hatch 10 pull 9 gas, and is now going back up in the drone count game. And hopefully their lag issues were resolved by sound observers leaving. But usually when you have lag issues on Battle.net and you're playing dynamic turn rate, it's better if you know your part to just ditch the dynamic turn rate and go for something that will work for you. And sometimes even lead to better latency overall, because the game is not trying to find the quote-unquote optimal turn rate for the game, and is sticking to the same one. So is what this results in is actually the peers exchanging less data and having less chances of that data being lost, which reflects into lowering the turn rate. Some botnet/networking essentials and internals for you if you wanted to know them. And the Zerg player is going for the same build again. At least I like better what he's doing this time. He's going for the semi-safe CC allocation and building placing some buildings to limit the surface area that the links can have if they decide to run in. Also, another thing that I did like from Least was that he threw down his second barracks before going for gas and academy. Seems like he did build a supply depot by mistake rather than academy, which was cancelled, and then academy was placed. Canshoot is again going for that spire in the natural location. Maybe he likes it that way, having Terrans waste their scanners a bit. But I mean, Terran don't normally do 2 scans, one in the main and one in natural, because what they want is to, if they're powering on Marines, as Least is at the moment, and getting steam, they'll still scan the natural to see if the Zerg player is placing any sunken colonies, and if they are, or creep colonies, and if there are creep colonies, when will they become sunken colonies? Because sometimes if the Zerg is playing a bit greedy, they will try to delay having the creep colonies as much as possible, and then they'll also delay having to spend these extra 50 minerals on the sunken, or was it 25? Because sometimes what the Zergs want to do early game is just squeeze the most that they can get. And our friend Least did manage to get an early steam, and despite of being scouted by both the Overlord and the Lynx, the Zerg player did not react in any way to the Marine threat thing on the map. And if at least focus fired these mutas earlier, you've had twice as big of an army, but I don't think it really matters at this point, because he's just bringing havoc to these drones, and he killed all the mutas, which was the important thing about, or the saving grace of this build, the 2-hatch muta. And yes, so we saw why you should not skimp on defenses. But I'm not sure if Least scanned to see that there are no sunkens. So his academy is now ready. His scanner is very late, so no, he did not scan, he just went for it. And that might not be a good thing if the Zerg player has some links on the map and is well prepared for the Marine aggression. Okay, so from the 3 games that we had in our group, we did have a very unfortunate, I'd say, loss for Least, because he sort of got mad after his Ling aggression did not work out, and I don't blame him for that. Then we have had Canshot with his Rush to Guardian build, taking an interesting game out of Intact. And then Least showed us why this build that Canshot was going for in the previous game was not probably not the most optimal one, and what you can do to punish it. So yeah, that concludes it with Group 19. And we are gonna move on to Group 24 with the casters. Woohoo! So let's... Oh, that's very interesting. So let's head to our Group 24 with all these casters. But unfortunately, I think they also were not the most disciplined in playing and uploading their games. Could be that they just forgot, could be that they were busy, so I know Shamtu was sick a few weeks ago, so possibly that was the period, but I don't know. Seems like Fujikura managed to play all his games. He played versus Dog, he played versus Shamtu, and he played versus Shafir. So yeah, Fuji did play all his games, and then either Dog or Shamtu made the extra effort and played that streamer show match game. So let's first see Dog versus Fuji to reward Fuji for actually managing to host all his, to play and upload all his games. So we are gonna have, the map is Sylphid. For those that don't know, in CPL, at least for the preseason, there's one map, it's best of ones, so that will always be Sylphid. And starting us here in the 12 o'clock position, we do have the White Zerg player, Doc Holiday. And here at the, I'm gonna call it 4 o'clock position, it's the Red Protoss So Fujikura. That is... Yeah, some chatter going on. So are Fujikura. Would suggest that he plays random, but I think I've seen Fujikura playing Protoss all the time. So a mystery that will be resolved in the forthcoming games. There were, for those that were wondering what they were talking about, there was the ASL LAN party / tournament sponsored by the Afrika TV, and it was in LA. I am not gonna put on any spoilers to say who won or who was there, but it's something that I recommend checking out. It's on Afrika Global, I think, channel. Only on Afrika TV, so you need to find it. I recommend using Liquipedia for that. Type LA LAN, Afrika LA LAN, and it will appear. Doc Holiday was casting it, so it was pretty good. Fujikura, if I am not mistaken, is South American. As many of So teams players. They used to be, I think, a Korean team, then it was a weird mix of Korean and South American players, and now it's many players from everywhere. There's Bonnet, there's Shamtu. No, it was not Shamtu, it was Models that was also in Seoul. And there are some other players that are in Seoul as well, but they now have players from all over the world, and that drone is annoying, so that there's no Nexus being built, but the Protoss was playing very safely, going for... Ironically, he was going safely when going for a gateway build. But he did build a gateway and a forge because he scouted what the Zerg was trying to do. But when you have 3 zealots, I think it's fine. You don't really need the cannon. But that move from Doc was quite annoying, because now Fujikura is start from his gas mining and Doc doing Doc things, sneaking a ninja expansion over here. So if the Protoss decides to scout normal locations for the third base here, here or there, he will not find it and he'll think that the Zerg player is going for some 2-base aggression. And I think Doc is a very cool guy, but he is known for his aggressive style of play sometimes. But this time seems like the aggression is not panning out because when the links are being cashed and dying one by one, it's just not good. So I think these zealots can just take the game right now, because Doc did not execute this build perfectly, or rather he did not react to the zealot aggression perfectly, and he keeps bleeding out links, which is good for the zealots because they're having time to regen and they're not being threatened by being surrounded from links. And there's a 4 health zealot. It's gonna go down finally, and Fujikura has decided to not go on and continue with that zealot production, which, given that it was quite certain that he'll take out the hatchery, had the chance of completely finishing the game right there, right then. But instead he's gonna go for some more standard play. Does have a lot of minerals that are not spent, so yep, that is unproduced zealots while this aggression was going on, and some missed opportunities on building more gateways. But that's okay. It was too busy, I guess, microing. The one thing that is not okay in this game is he took out the natural hatchery, thinking that now he's very ahead, and he probably feels quite good about this game. But little does he know, Dog did manage to sneak that third base, and it now has a pretty healthy drone count. So yeah, 7 drones. You shouldn't really need more at that kind of base, unless what he's going for is trying to suck out as many minerals from that base as he can before it being scouted. But honestly, that base already paid for itself. It's 7 mineral patches, and he mined about 50 minerals from each, so that's 350. The hatchery's on 300, and we're not including these drones. But Doc's not happy with his ninja advantage from here, and he's going for yet another base. But that does actually have some chance of exposing this one as well. Because when the Protoss player decides to finally go and scout for what the Zerg is going to do, he will quite likely see both these bases. And now what Fujikura sees is not many drones at the natural, thinking I am really ahead, as I thought. sees a lot of links being made from dogs, so he should be quite happy about that. That Overlord's gonna go down. Supply blocking Dog Holiday, which is always very annoying for the other players. And let's see, he currently does not have any buildings that will allow him to build anything that shoots air, so that might be a rough spot for Doc in this game. And now Fuji finally manages to see the third base that Doc managed to sneak in a bit earlier, and he is going to try to deny it with nicely aligned +1 and Zealot leg speed. So quite likely will be a successful takedown of this base. And Doc is now bringing some defenses. It's 14 links plus the 6 links over here. It's 20 links against 7 Zealots with +1. And I think if these 7 Zealots get a nice concave, they will take the 20 links, no problem. And that is not a bad concave, especially because Doc was not doing any drone drilling. And yes, as we can see, these 7 Zealots are more than capable of taking 12 links, which sounds crazy, but that's just Protoss. Bear in mind, with +1, Zealots are able to do short links, which makes them kill them so much faster. You don't need the additional third hit, which basically means that your time that you need to deal with the Zergon is reduced by 1/3. But the more important thing is that you are limiting the things that are attacking you, and you're able to survive for longer. And we do have Fujikura again, letting his macro slip a bit while he was going for that aggression. But overall, it was a successful attack. No doubt about that, because he did manage to take out the sneaky base, and it did good damage to the other one. It took out both Sunkens, but more importantly, it did force Dog to go for 3 static defense structures, which is even better than killing 3 drones from that base, because he didn't only kill his drones, he also spent some extra minerals to make them do something. And that something is become a Sunken or Spore. It feels like a missed opportunity with only 1 Spore colony over here. Had the Fujikura continued Corsair production and possibly got decked into +1 air weapons, could have just taken down all these Overlords very easily. Nice Storm is managing to salvage whatever it can from that High Templar's dead. So yeah, Fujikura is playing a good game so far. These 2 lurkers, I have no idea what they're doing there. It seems like they are just stuck. Doc will not be very happy about that when he finds out. There's one lurker here, but we saw Fuji take his Robo really early. And yeah, there are already observers out on the map. What I'm surprised by is that, yes, Fujikuro's macro slips sometimes, like now, when he's busy fighting. But what doesn't slip is his upgrades and his tech. He has the observers, he already almost has +2, which is about as optimal as you can get. Like, +2 you can get, I think, the earliest possible, about 11 minutes 30. But having +2 complete at 40 minutes is pretty good, given that early aggression that happened over here and everything. And Doc did deny the Prosper for a long time from taking gas, which is needed for the attack upgrade. And we do have Fujikuro going for a second forge. We'll quite likely want to get some armor upgrades going as soon as he's +3 weapons, or parallel to his +3 weapons upgrades, and then he can just focus on having armor and shield upgrades. Which means that we are quite likely going to see some Arcans in this game. I'm not quite sure. Why does Fuji want to wall against a Zerkler? I mean, yes, lurkers are a threat, but you can also put a few Sunkens and a few cannons and a Zealot or two on the ramp. And this will do just fine against lurkers. What not walling allows you to do is get some dragoons in the base in case of annoying lurker drops. But most of the time you also deal with a cannon and maybe a High Templar with that kind of situations. And Doc is I don't know if he's aware of that base. I'd say no, that fourth base that Protoss is taking right now. But he does have a pretty good sense of that, and he is taking his fifth base already. As we know, the Zerklers do want to be at least one base ahead of Protoss players in this matchup. Because similar to the PvT games, where the Terran has the better army, but the Protoss just overwhelms or tries to overwhelm the Terran armies. In ZVP it's similar, except that Protoss has access to the more cost-efficient unit composition. If we don't count these boys, like lurkers are great, honestly. For 200 gas and minerals, you kill Infinity Zealots. Look at that. These are lurkers without any attack upgrades. And they took out all the Zealots. So yeah, the lurkers are quite good, especially with comboed with the Power and Darkstorms. And these dragoons are bound to die, as these cracklings do manage to get on top of them. So when the game gets to high tech, the Zerkler feels very good. because cracklings are crazy, defilers are crazy, lurkers are crazy, but you do have access to lurkers even on layer tech. Plague is crazy. And usually just some gateway armies cannot really afford to be fighting against high tech. You do need some Archons, you do need Templars, you do need Reavers in that kind of situation to be able to take on Zerg there. And yes, that's just what Zerg players do when they get hype. They units, lots of them. Come on, yeah, throw another one. And now we're gonna see all of that map being orange. Fujikura not macroing again. Preoccupied with controlling his armies. He does have 3 gases, which is good for the Protoss. But right now he needs to think of a way to deal with the Zerg. The Zerg can keep growing on the map now that it has access to Darksworm. They will eventually start throwing these plagues to the Protoss army, rendering the Protoss units close to useless, except the Archons. They don't care about plague. And we have that Defiler over here. It's not gonna live for a long time, especially... It looked like the cannon shot killed that Defiler, but that's impossible because he was under Dark Swarm. Should have been... Must have been the Zealot that was over here, so... There's some free High Templars for the taking. That dog just decides to not get. And yeah, when Zerg is going for... When Zerg is stacking a lot of resources, they can just afford to do that. Where is it? Is it one and the other? Yeah. They can go for some of these bad boys. And Ultras, especially now when they'll have their armor upgrade with some other good base upgrades. They are quite strong, not only against Terran but also against Protoss, especially when comboed with Defiler. And yes, the Protoss player needs to react to that by adding a lot more Archons, almost not be building goons at that time, and yeah, Fujikura is going for some Archons. And also going for Plasma Shield upgrades, because when you have Archons, armor upgrades are not very useful, because it's that part of the Archon that benefits from the attack upgrades, that 10 health. But yes, Cracklings plus Ultras. Ultralink is such a good unit composition. Unit Storms and Splash, or some other splash damage to deal with it. Doc right now, what he isn't doing is he is not gathering his forces. I think if he just gathers all that swarm that is currently coming to the Protoss player and throws a Dark Swarm in the middle of the fight, he will take this easily. These Lurkers still do not have any upgrades, so not as efficient as they want to be. In the meantime, Fujikura did manage to secure this expansion for himself, which Doc is not really attacking. And he is also splitting his forces between trying to attack this base and that base. which I'm not really sure you can afford to do right now. But what am I talking? It's cracklings plus ultras. Of course you can do it. He is not targeting down the Nexus. Now he is. But he did kill all the probes that were mining from this base. So that is also a win. And now we can see where Fujikuro's 200 IQ plays of having the wall pays off. But yeah, it's good because lurkers, ultras cannot go to that base, but it's also not good because Archons cannot go to the base. So it dies pretty damn fast to cracklings. And these cracklings should be able to overwhelm even that amount of Archons. No, the splash damage is just too good. Plus 3 Archons. Very good against cracklings. You do need some Dark Swarm if you want to fight it. Archons. Because then you're forcing essentially just the splash damage to be effective, rather than the full 39 damage plus the splash. We do have action all over the map, which is great, but it seems at that point that Doko just barely managed to overwhelm the Protoss player right now, and from here on it just snowballs very hard. Fuji is trying to macro and trying to push out these Zerg forces as best as he can, but what I'm saying about the snowball effect is that, look at this, Dog is producing 6 ultras and 15 sets of links, which are just streaming across the map. Look at that Zerg, look at him go, and he is about to overwhelm the... He did take control over the Protoss' Natural, and Doc will not be able to defend that with just a few goons. These Dark Templars are a good shout, are right now coming out of the gateways, but I'm afraid Fuji is so dead right now that even these Darks will not be able to save him. So yeah, Fujikura had a good advantage at the start. He did think that he had bigger advantage than he actually did, because Doc did manage to get that base without Fuji knowing, which kind of explains why he does not want to leave this game right now. But at this point it's pretty over and we are just waiting for the GG from Doc, from Fuji, to give Doc the win. Yep, you are correct, Master Doc. You do have the high ground, and there we go. We finally have GG from Doc, from Fujikura, when Fujikura had less than 10 buildings on the map, but Doc seems to be enjoying the view of Cracklings taking out Crossus buildings quite a lot, and is staying in that game for a while everything is destroyed, and now decides to leave. With that, our first Tier 1 game featuring some fellow streamers is completed. And we can go on game number 2 with the ultimate streamer showdown. It will be Shamtu against the Holiday. Not going for his Shamtos, unfortunately, so not very good analysis from my side. but also means that he's taking the game seriously and not wanting to give Doc any chances of winning. SC is too stressful. Yeah, I agree, Doc. And here at the 4 o'clock position, we are gonna have Doc Holiday spawning as the teal Zerg player. And what might be the 8 o'clock position, we do have Shampoo, aka Salt, with a lot of T's, and quite some else spawning as the right Terran. And right now, we are gonna have standard plays from both of them, which for 2 streamers having a match together is not a very common thing to happen. But I want to point something out while they're busy chatting and having the time of their life before the game really starts. Despite them being streamers, they did not think of their fellow streamers. Like, sure, they maybe picked these colors and they're quite nice for casting. But you cannot have a blue Zerg because of that. They do not play on top versus bottom. It's easier for them to chat, but honestly, you can just press the broadcasting or whatever it is icon and direct all your messages by default to the all chat instead of the allied one. Knuckle continues with his Star Wars references. I did not know that he's such a fan. So hatch into 12 pull from the Zerg player. Shampoo not going for any early shenanigans. With a very fast command center. He's playing it safe. He knows he's playing against the master of all Zergling callings. Sometimes he just plays that. It is commonly well known. I'm sorry, Doc. Hope you're not offended by that, but I mean, even you said it on one of your streams. When you see a gateway and you don't know what to do, just make links. Make links until they die, or until you die, and that's how it's played. Yep. Very effective way to play. That drone staying sneaky in at the minerals here. Wanting to see when Shampoo is gonna move out. Or possibly gonna peek again. Yep, it's peeking again, and Doc confirms that Shampoo is going for a command center. Knowing that this will not be some very aggressive place. And meanwhile, Doc is going for a hatchery over here, maybe to try and hide it from the links from the SCV, and so far that's successful, and he did manage to hide it. We do have one drugs, one factory, and one command center. As far as I'm aware, that's not the 1-1-1 build that you most of the time know, but it's what Shampoo is going for this time. For those that don't know who Shampoo and Doc are, what have you been doing all your life? Do give them a follow. They are quite nice streamers with way more regular StarCraft content than I am. Shampoo recently resumed his tournament. Have at you. I was gonna say not for you, but that's a StarCraft player, not a tournament. name. Shamto is trying to sneak by the Datsunken, and he does. So Doc Sim City is really helping Shamto right here. And he is gonna be annoying. He is gonna be taking some drones, which will be very good. Yes, as I was saying, Shamto, this guy over here with the Vulture. Well, not that guy in the Vulture specifically, but Shamto is controlling it. And instead, he's hosting the bi-weekly tournaments called Have At You. They are pretty fun to watch, and he's a great caster. So if you didn't know about them, do make sure to look for when Have At You start happening. And if you don't want to sign up, at least join him in the cast as a chat viewer, as a Twitch viewer in the chat. Shamtu is going for Goliaths, but not for the Goliath build. So quite possibly we are gonna have some mech plays from the Terran player. It's funny, this match, TVZ, for a very long time it was considered that Terrans can really only go bio and they'll need to get into SK Terran in order to play the game or play that matchup. But then later on, people were like, Fantasy started experimenting with adding some mech units to the game. I think Fantasy came up with the Volcanic build, which at the time was somewhat effective. It's really out of date right now, but what it started inspiring people was for them to try out and build some plain mech, even versus Zero, because mech is good, mech is cost efficient, mech has great DPS, mech can do wonders. So yeah, Terran players did decide to go for mech, and there was I think just about at the time when StarCraft Remastered came out, there was the bio first and then transition to mech, with lifting all your 5, 7, 9 Raxes and using them as very high health overlords to just scout around the map and build factories, have the mech transition. Then there was the 1-1-1 build, which you could transition into mech from there because you really don't have many units and it's up to you whether you decide to build bio or mech. And then the most recent iteration of the mech build is going for the Goliath build, which we did not really see this game, but you go for a few Goliaths to be safe against Mutkaras, and then go for your tanks and vultures, because they are the best unit in the game. We do have one lone Mutalisk. It's not one lone Mutalisk anymore, but yeah, they don't really stand a chance against these Goliaths, and Doc has to forfeit his expansion. And Champ2 does know about his Doc's other expansion, but seems like Champ2 did not really focus the army, neither the expansion, and Doc manages to just barely defend with some army left over, mostly from reinforcements, and the hatchery alive at 180. Now it's 190 health. So that was not the most successful attack by Shamtu, but Terran on 2 base, going for some mech. Do not count him out yet. There's Link patrolling on the map, making sure that Shamtu is not sneaking any expansions. And Doki is finally going for some hive. And a double evolution chamber. So quite possibly Doki is gonna go for that Ultra Link with Defilers yet again. He is building a formidable force of Mutalisks, making use of the fact that there are no turrets at Shamtu's base, and currently there are also no Goliaths. The Goliaths did come for the reinforcement, but at that time Dog does have +1 armor, which with these Goliaths not having any weapon upgrades yet, makes the Mutas quite resilient to the Goliath missiles. And Doc did try to go for that supply depot, very important. Take out that supply depot, yeah, sure. Just ignore the command center that is flying over there. Come on Doc, look at the command center. You can see it, you can see it. No, you cannot. You're blind. That command center is like over here and Doc is missing it. So unfortunate. Come on Doc, see that command center. Don't go for the fucking supply depot. He is going for double evolution chamber, but he is also going for triple evolution chamber right now. But he's also going for a lot of mutas. And that is forcing Shamtu to go and have quite a lot of turrets in his main base. But what makes mech really powerful is these vultures laying mines over the map, making it hard for the other player to initiate any counterattacks, and also giving a ton of vision to the Storm player. Seems like Doki is finally starting to use these vultures to lay these mines. And where is Doc's mutable? It's over here, but it's not doing anything right now. Should be denying this expansion. Yeah, at this point it's like 2 control groups of mutas against 7 Goliaths. I mean, sure, they do have +1 weapons right now, but honestly, 20 mutas can take that. He's not making use of the triple evolution chambers, but he built them nonetheless. He's like, ah, I have the money, what the hell. Okay, so now he's going to try and take out this expansion. Can Shamtu do the Valkyrie micro? Nope, it doesn't seem so. Valkyrie micro is really difficult thing to do. There was recently a clip by Flash. And Doc doing Doc things again, staying in the game for longer than expected. But what we do have right now is Doc Holiday with 2 victories under his belt in Group 24. So I say we... Oh no, we do not have a turn match from Doc. And we also don't have Shamtu versus Shafir, but I think it was mostly Shafir not showing up for many of the games. Seems like only Fujikura managed to play him. Maybe he's in a different time zone, that was very inconvenient to play. So, seems like our caster Doc Holiday did come out undefeated from that group. And let's continue on with our caster's adventures, seeing what our friend Champ2 can do in that game. And what do you know, I almost thought that for a moment here I will have the lobby not being bugged out again. Probably not. So anyway, let's go into the game. We saw that this is not a problem. And follow our caster adventures. Yep, we do have spawning here at the 12 o'clock position in white as Protoss. So our Fujikura, as I said, I think Fujikura is just playing Protoss. And here at the 4 o'clock position we do have Champ2 again, playing with his nickname Salt, with a lot of T's and a lot of T's, with a lot of L's and a lot of T's. It's like 3 L's and... Oh, why are you making me do this? I'm dyslexic. 5 T's? It is 5 T's. I feel good about myself, but I did not remember to hide the replay progress bar, so I do not feel good about that. But oh well. You cannot have it all. You can either have me struggling to see... He does. I can confirm, definitely. Like I've seen it, it's like a Python. Or Python, it's like an anaconda. I am not gonna say what did I just answer to in the chat, but you can look at the chat replay and figure it out. So right now, standard plays again going on from both players. Champ2 is not gonna go for that greedy gasless expand, and seems like he knows the thing about if the SCV is on top of the gas when making the gas, it will start building the gas immediately, and if it's from the bottom it will need to slide to the middle of the geyser and then we'll start building it. So we see Champ2 taking that into account, making that little optimization. And at this point both players do know where their opponents spawn. I think what's gonna be the big thing right over here is Fujikura gonna go for a very early Nexus, or for a slightly delayed Nexus, or for some cheese or chess, as we saw it earlier in one of our previous games. What he's going for right now is a probe that was not mining, and a very delayed Dragoon. But he does have 150 minerals and he's spending that on the Dragoon range upgrade right now. And we do have Champ2 building 3 Marines, which is standard, not too few, not too many, so he's safe against early aggression from the Protoss players. And he can take an expansion behind that. There's the gateway, he's not going, gateway is the factory, he's not going for a vulture before his... Why does this guy have so few minerals? Oh, that's why. Where is it? Over here. Citadel of Doom. So he is going for some cheese, and Shamtu will be scouting. I don't think that's far enough to see that there's no expansion. But if the Protoss player does not have an expansion by about 4 minutes, it does signal, or should signal, some aggression to the Terran player. Some cheese. Fujikuro trying to deny all scouting, but now Shamtu knows. Yeah, now Shamtu sees that there's no expansion at 4:30, which, as you can see, he reacts by immediately throwing down the academy, going for these scanners. But honestly, having these mines over here, if he just places 3 mines, he is safe unless Fujikuro decides to go for 1 zealot to drag all the mines and then still sneak in the DT. It's possible, but not very likely, and even so, you just build another vulture and maybe some more mines. But he is going for an academy, he is going for that eBay, and given all of that, I think Goon was glitched. Given all that, I think, despite Fujikuro's heavy investment in this, he's okay with the DP rush. He forced his opponent to build a lot of things, but because he has 3 gateways, he does not have an expansion yet, despite having 600. No, I was just gonna say he manages to just barely save that DT, but no, he did not. That's a big pick-off. So Fujikuro managed to get the tank. Shamtu keeps going for tanks instead of vultures that can lay mines into the DTs, and we've got GG from Shamtu. This is a bit of unexpected, but oh well. We do have our second caster in the group, having 2 losses. So one caster very victorious and the other one not so much. So Fuji is now 1-1 in this group. And good thing we have our last replay to see whether Fuji... Oh wow! As the last game of the stream, I did actually manage to post the game properly. So thank you Battle.net, thank you Blizzard for fixing everything that was problematic before, and I'm now able to host. We can host games again, which is great for the remaining 0 games that I have. Anyway, enough of my rant. We do have spawning here at 12 o'clock the Protoss player Shafiru, and spawning here at the 4 o'clock position in red the Protoss that we've been following so far, so Fujikura. So yeah, that R in his name is very misleading, because he either got extremely lucky or unlucky, I don't know how to call it, and got Protoss in all his 3 matchups for today, or he is just not a random player and he's a Protoss player, which I think he is. But anyway, right now we have mirror builds from both players, and I would be very surprised if for the first 1 minute of the game we do not have mirror builds in a mirror matchup. It doesn't go as far for ZVZ because they can have deviations even in their first minute, but for Zerg players, first minute is already like 10% of the game. And that's the first big deviation in the build. We do have 2 gate versus 1 gate into gas. Fujikura going for an anti-mana pylon in his mineral line. Because probably the last thing that he wants to deal with right now is having to deal with pylon in your mineral line while you're trying to be aggressive and while you want to commit yourselves to be at the other side of the map. So no bad decision here from Fujikura. And he did not get supply blocked so far, which is good when you're executing a rush build. But he really needs to build his pylon right now if he doesn't want to get supply blocked again. He builds his pylon at the natural, signaling that maybe he's going for that 3 to 5 zealots into expansion. And as an answer to the Protoss aggression, we do have the other Protoss, Shafiru, going for a shield battery and a Dragoon. He is putting on his probes back to gas, which might be a bit too early, but sure he has that mapped out. And Fujikura is going for that 1 weak probe that was there. But 1 goon and 1 zealot are not gonna be very effective against 3 zealots. He is doing a good job of microing that 1 weakened zealot. And he should be able to take it out right now. Yeah, zealot goes down. 2 dragoons. Shield battery might be a saving grace. So Shafiru is not mining with his probes right now, and 1 dragoons is going down. And that was a bit of an anticlimactic GG yet again, because he almost had, like, the game is not showing it right now, but he almost had 2 goons ready. And on the other side, Fujikura was indeed going for that 5 zealots into expansion build, meaning that zealot aggression would stop as soon as that 1 zealot is taken out. So our friend Shafiru did GG slightly earlier than needed, but what can you do? So we had about 5 or 6 really fast games, which means that I go to bed at a decent time today. So that was groups 19 and 24 from CPL Preseason Week 2. I hope you like the groups that you are assigned to right now when the official CPL season has started, and do stay tuned for any announcements of upcoming games. And good luck in your CPL games. I hope you enjoyed the cast, and I'll see you next time. Keep watching that CPL Discord server for when casts are happening. That's it from me, folks. Bye bye.